Welcome to our 9th session of our 12-week series about how to integrate the NARM healing process with the integral relationship model. So NARM stands for NeuroAffective Relational Method, and it's specifically designed for dealing with what's called complex developmental childhood trauma. And the integral relationship model is, of course, how to co-create a healthy relationship in which we learn, heal, grow, and awaken together. And taking together is probably the most elaborate and maybe complex and advanced model for co-creating healthy relationships. And if you're interested in the whole training, we will offer another 26-week training that starts on November 10th, so that's a week after we finish this series. So for tonight, it's very important that we understand that this process that we will engage in to identify our false identity and then get an affirmation for our true identity is that we understand that this is designed for dealing with this complex developmental childhood trauma, so that we can heal wounds around connection, feeling disconnected from ourselves and others, attunement to our feelings and needs, trusting ourselves and others in relationship, autonomy of not feeling burdened and pressured, and be able to set healthy boundaries and speak our truth, and our ability to integrate a loving relationship with a vital sexuality. So if we have difficulties in any of these areas, or get triggered and we get into fight, flight, or freeze, and we get disconnected and afraid and not trusting, and if this comes up, this process can be really helpful and is part of the NARM healing cycle. It's not designed tonight, what we do and the part of this training, to deal with any kind of personality disorders or shock trauma or any kind of psychiatric illnesses. So we need professionals to deal with that. But these complex developmental trauma, if you're attuned to your feelings and have some experience around processes that we will engage in tonight, then you can do this together with your partner. And then if you need more work, then you can, of course, consult helping professionals. So I wanted to make that clear up front, what this process that you will engage in or see in this video is for and what it is not. So very clear. So here is the NARM healing cycle. And 2 weeks ago, we addressed the left side of the cycle with the somatic healing and getting in touch with our emotions and calming down our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. And today we will explore these 2 steps here: inquiry into identity and false identity, and then disidentification from our false identity, including the shame and pride-based identifications. And we will then work with affirmations, which I thought for quite some time these affirmations are a little bit new age woo-woo, but over time, reading the EMDR book and learning about EMDR, and then reading NARM, I learned that they all work with affirmations and that they're actually very powerful. So I hope at the end of this process that you will learn about, you will also have a powerful experience through the affirmations. We worked a little bit on the left side here with our somatic awareness of calming our nervous system down when we're in a fight, flight, or freeze response, so that we can go back to social engagement and engage with our partner in a loving, kind, connected way, right? And also, so what's really amazing to me, this book came out in 2000, Undefended Love. It's not very famous, only in Northern California, I think it's somewhat popular, the 2 therapists. In this book, we engaged in this process that I will invite you to go through today in the breakout session. And then I incorporated that in my workshops, which started in 2010, 14 years ago, and in the online training. And a lot of people, said that was the most powerful module or part of our workshop. So this is where this comes from, this process. And then jump forward to 2011 or 12. So it's about 10 years after I got the Undefended Love book. I was in a training with Claire Sammet and Catherine Woodward Thomas about the Calling into One training. And they gave us this pamphlet. Use this book, and I will give you a link on the internet where you can download a PDF. And this also goes back then to the NARM process of working with affirmations, and also for EMDR. This is the EMDR book. And if you think, I thought for a long time, these affirmations that are in this book from Claire and Catherine, it's like a little new age woo-woo stuff. But EMDR totally works with affirmations, right? The positive affirmations, and then they do the integration through this eye movement and things like that. And NARM also works with affirmation. So that really has some validity to it, even if it sounds at the beginning a little false or woo-woo, new agey to you. So we're combining basically the process for undefended love with transformation of identity matrix, which is really, really brilliant. This is like just freaking amazing what Claire and Catherine put together in this pamphlet, and I'm very thrilled that it's in the public domain now, and you can all download it if you want to. So here is a little visual that may help you, and it's also in the video, the process that we do. Strong emotional reaction to our partner's reality, and there is no threat to our survival. So it's not that he or she is beating us up or stealing money or did something that really violated an agreement that you have or threatens your existence, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about anxiety, where you're, get triggered around something that most other people may not get triggered, right? And often we get specifically triggered in our intimate relationships because it triggers our old complex developmental childhood trauma, right? So we need to be clear to separate that trigger from a real threat or from an anxiety. And underlying this fear is this fight, flight, freeze response, this strong emotional reaction that puts your body in emotion, or you're emoting, is a vulnerable feeling. And that is usually hidden in your unconscious. It's so painful that you don't want to relive that hurt or painful feeling in your, from your past. So this primary emotion protects this vulnerable feeling. And we need to touch on that vulnerable feeling today. And underneath this vulnerable feeling is a belief about yourself that is also unconscious, that is not true. It's a false belief about yourself. For example, that you're not lovable or that you don't matter or something like that. And underneath this false belief, right, that you carry around with you, nobody wants me, I'm not good enough. You all know probably, when these self-defeating thoughts come up about who you are, right? What you are, what you're not. I'm too stupid, I'm not intelligent enough, something like that. It's like a deepest fear, right? If somebody would find that out about me, then, something horrible would happen. Otherwise, we wouldn't have that reaction in the first place, right? It's my deepest fear is that I am or I am not. And that's your false identity then. I am or I am not. And then below that false identity is your true identity, your true self, right? So this is layers upon layers. And that comes from the diamond approach or from Buddhism, right? The veils in Buddhism, where they go layer by layer by layer until you come to your true, authentic self that you were born with, basically, right? Babies don't think I'm too stupid or I'm not lovable or anything like that, right? They just say, I'm great, take care of me. So that's the process. Okay, before I go there, I need to explain to you how this process works. So when you go into the breakout, one of you will be the person who goes through the process, and the other person is the person who guides the process. So that's the first thing. And you hopefully we will have enough time for both of you to go through the process. So once one person went through the process, you switch and the other person goes through the process. Right? And if you're the person who goes through the process, I want you to relax as good as you can, and to, like, I would lean back in my chair and close your eyes, right? Allow yourself to be guided by your partner through the process. And if you are the guide, all you do is you ask the questions, and don't read the examples to your partner. They're just there for you to get a little bit of a guideline what you should look for, right? Or hope for to hear. So state your complaint, something that triggered you about your partner or ex-partner. And then you invite your partner to state his or her primary emotional reaction. And once you have, that's all you need, right? Is state a real feeling, right? The next step is state a vulnerable feeling below your reaction that is protected by the primary reaction. And then the next question we look for, or you will ask, and answer you look for, is state a belief under your vulnerable feeling. The final step is, that's just the same thing, but you state, I already did it. I already made an I statement and said, I don't belong. Okay? So what you want to get to in this process is not a story at the end, but a very simple statement of I am or I am not. Right? And this may sound a little scary, a little complicated, but trust me, it's kind of like easy if you just allow yourself to go through the process and stay in adult witness consciousness while you feel into that feeling that happened when you got triggered. I hope you find this helpful and enlightening.